Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. So this is going to be my Legend of Korra finale video. Lots of thoughts about the ending and just the series in general, so let's do the thing. I know what we all really want to talk about is the ending. I do feel like Mike and Brian just absolutely dropped the mic and just backed away. If you were to press them at a future Comic-Con, I think that they would stay pretty ambiguous about the ending. It's a really common thing for writers, especially in television now, when there's an ending that's really polarizing, to just kind of leave it to the fans to decide one way or the other how things went down. So just remember that when you're arguing canon with other people on Tumblr. Because this is the finale, I'm giving away 2 copies of the Book 3 DVD. All you have to do to enter that is be a subscriber and leave a comment on this video. So, careful for spoilers from the finale if you haven't seen the episodes yet, starting with top 10 moments. Number 10, Pema at the train station. One of my favorite quotes from the episode, "I raised Meelo, I can handle anything." Although it looks like Rohan at the end of the episode is going to be way crazier than Meelo, although he seems a little more benign. The song that she was singing later was called Hungry Little Lemurs. There's so many songs in Avatar. At some point, I'll try to do a video for my favorite Avatar songs, especially from the original series. I'm surprised that they haven't released an album. Usually at Comic-Con, sometimes they'll sing them, like they sang Secret Tunnel at Comic-Con 2014. It was pretty fun. Number 9, Prince Wu with the Badger Moles. I love that they gave him the Toph moment. It wouldn't be Avatar without Badger Moles, and the song that he sang was actually a nice spin on Secret Tunnel. I'm surprised at how smart Wu got in these last couple of episodes, and it was nice to give him that big win, although technically it was a Badger Mole win. Never let the truth get in the way of a good story, as Farik says. For those that didn't remember from the original Avatar series, it's the rhythm of the song that the Badger Moles are responding to. That's how they know to take out the guards. Number 8, Meelo has a plan to take out the giant mech, but really disable it with the airbender paintball guns. Isn't it crazy that there was like a windshield wiper system installed in the giant mech? That actually surprised me more than the paintballs. I guess Kuvira was just expecting to run into a lot of inclement weather. And I just love Meelo smashing his face on the glass too. That would be like a really good dashboard or a really good like phone lock screen. I've said it before, but I feel like he is the reincarnation of Aang, even though technically Korra is because she's the Avatar. Meelo inherited Aang's sense of humor, although I don't think that Aang was quite as good of an artist. Number 7, Team Korra versus the Giant Mech Round 1. They weren't able to take it down, but there was actually a really awesome team effort with the airbenders, Korra, and Bolin on the ground lava bending. The thing that's really crazy is how good a metal bender Kuvira is, but they kind of explained it later, like why she's able to bend the giant mech and everyone else isn't. Outside, it's coated with platinum so that they can't bend it from the outside, but they can bend it from the inside. That's why when Suyin and Lin got inside later, they were able to rip the shit out of it. In terms of raw ability though, Kuvira is one of the best metal benders in the world. Next to Toph, that is. Toph's still the best. There were a number of attacks against the mech, and I do feel like they did a good job of escalating things. So this actually came pretty early in the first episode, so it was a big deal, but the later fights did get much more epic. Number 6, I'm afraid there are no more things to do, sir. Julian Farik Round 1. So many things happen in this scene. First off, he did the giant AMP like I thought he would. Of course, it didn't work just because the power source inside the giant mech was self-contained. Not only was the power source isolated, it was spirit-vine energy, so it was a little bit different from a traditional electric circuit. The way he tries to explain his backstory is just so much fun. I had an ostrich horse named Mrs. Beaks. And just that line, "Before the circus people came and took me away," doesn't that make you feel like he was part of Suyin's circus troupe? I don't think that he was, but just the minute he said circus troupe, all I could think about was Suyin's picture from her circus days. Farik is like a Homer Simpson type character where they can whip crack between personality traits. Like they go from really smart to really dumb back to really smart in the span of like 2 minutes. I don't know if anyone was counting, but I just thought it was hilarious. Like the sheer number of times they let different characters in the episode use that phrase, do the thing. Number 5, Asami's father wants to turn the hummingbird mechs into mosquitoes and then gives his life. As predicted, he did help out. I like the way they sent him off. They did give him that final moment with Asami. Like she said at the end of the episode, "I'm glad that I finally forgave him before it was too late." Book 4 is titled Balance, but I think you could also subtitle it Forgiveness. Like a big part of balance is forgiving people. You could take that as meta commentary from Mike and Brian. Like, please forgive us that there's not going to be another Avatar series. The animation when they were flying around the mech was actually really cool too. It was like this very King Kong moment with the mech trying to swat them like actual flies. Number 4, Team Korra inside the mech. So this is really like a Death Star moment where they all get inside and start ripping it up. There were really 3 different plot lines. You have Korra versus Kuvira up at the top with the liquid metal fight. Then you have Bolin and Mako in the engine room trying to destroy the spirit finds. And then you have Lin and Suyin trying to take out the weapon. First, I just want to appreciate all the cross sections, just like the internal mechanics. It just looks so awesome. You can definitely tell they went all out with the animation on this episode. Just for contrast, they could have totally taken the easy route and never shown the inside of the mech. It would have been so much easier for them to animate and so much cheaper. So actually going inside the Death Star, way above and beyond the Call of Duty. Never mind how badass all the fights were. So let's start with the Korra fight up at the top. I love that the balls inside those maneuvering mechanisms, like the things that Kuvira used to maneuver the mech, were liquid metal. Think of those as like the gears, like the way that she shifts the mech around. Although it does kind of seem like she's bending from the inside of the mech, like she's bending the internal structure itself. It's also a nice reference to the poison from the end of book 3. And you can kind of tell that Korra is on her game. Like the minute she jumps up there and Kuvira throws it at her, she bends it right back at her. At no point does the metal cover her face, like none of it gets on her skin. So she is definitely a much better metal bender at this point. I know it's not always evident because she hasn't spent a whole lot of time fighting in book 4. Like book 4 wasn't so much about fighting. But Korra did have a lot of epic bending when she wasn't in the Avatar state. Moving down a little bit, Bolin and Mako. Mako totally had his hero moment. I did kind of think he was going to die and was going to end up in the spirit world and they were going to see him in like a post-credits scene. Like they would see him at the end of the episode with Iroh trying to have tea. But to be fair, you really only make it into the spirit world as a spirit if your spiritual alignment is highly tuned. Iroh was one of the most spiritual people from the original Avatar series, so that's why his spirit survives in the spirit world. You don't just automatically go there. So to be fair, if Mako had died, he actually would not have ended up there. He would have just died. So that would have been a huge bummer. So I am glad that Bolin saved him. Whenever he had that nod too, I did think that Bolin was gonna like smack him in the face and then escape with him, and Bolin was gonna do something. I know one of the big complaints in book 3 was why he didn't lightning bed Minghua sooner, but he did get her in the end. I was definitely surprised at the explosion in the giant mech. Like, it was more of a cross section than it was like a nuclear blast. I expected it to be this big spherical explosion, like whenever the spirit portal was created. Like a giant blade was expanding from the inside. And how cool was Bolin's lava saw? That was a nice callback to Ghazan's lava saw. So then moving to the side a little bit, you have Suyin and Beifong. Totally awesome sister team up. You really do notice there are heroes of all ages in the Avatar universe. Like you have middle-aged women, you have children, you have really young children like Meelo. I think that's one thing that they tried to add from the original Avatar series. Most of the action focused on the young Team Avatar, but the Korra universe is a little more diverse in terms of ages represented. The only thing that surprised me was how easily Kuvira was able to take them out. I get that she's a better bender than them, but it seems like she's just able to swat them like flies when she bends them to the metal arm and then rips it off. There are always little things like that bug me when they don't quantify people's strength. I think a lot of it just has to do with Kuvira catching them off guard. If you ever wonder why Kuvira is always able to beat the crap out of people, it's usually because she catches them by surprise. Even a good fighter can go down if they're not prepared, just like Korra getting her ass handed to her at the beginning of book 4. Number 3, Korra's fight with the giant spirit vine weapon tears open a new spirit portal. So how about the reveal of Korra stepping through the spirit vines into the face of that giant cannon? That was probably my favorite reaction shot from the episode. Just like, oh shit. This was like Kuvira's Azula goes crazy moment. It wasn't quite the same thing, but yeah, she definitely went a little crazy. Like there are specific points that you can point to along her path where you can say, okay, she has this really good plan. She's acting very rationally. But her on the back of that cannon, like tiny Kuvira on this giant cannon, is just the craziest thing in the world. And she has absolutely no scientific understanding of how spirit vine energy works. It'd be like giving an atomic bomb to just someone on the street and just saying, okay, go play with this. I don't think there was any other way that it could have gone down. Like something terrible had to happen. The spirit portal really was the biggest surprise of the episode. Anything could have happened. Lion Turtle could have jumped up. The spirit vines could have just totally taken them all out. Had this been like an HBO series, I think that there would have been a lot more blood. Like the spirit vines would have been ripping people up. But this is Nickelodeon, it's a children's show. I did expect at some point that Korra would take a full blast from the gun. Like she would eat it and either die or absorb it somehow. So I was glad that they took it to that level. Like you can't get crazier than that. Korra's explanation was totally satisfactory. Just the sheer spiritual energy tore a hole between the physical world and the spirit world, creating a new spirit portal. And how beautiful was the spirit world on the other side of that portal. The other side of the southern portal is like this big desolate area next to where that world tree is. I like that they chose to make this area look all flowery and nice, like a nice meadow. Very calming and serene. Number 2, Julie and Barracks' wedding. So a couple of awesome things in this episode between Julie and Barrack. We learn their full names, Julie Moon and Sir Ignic Blackstone Varrick. And if you didn't recognize it immediately, they were getting married on Air Temple Island. Pretty much like all of downtown was completely destroyed and overtaken with the vines and the spirit portal. So if you're looking at it, they animated all the characters they could into that scene. If you ever saw the Simpsons movie, it's just like that. Like they did a big church scene where they had hundreds of characters in the shot. Normally what happens is when they do big crowd shots is they only put faces on the first couple of rows, and then all the background people that aren't in focus, they just do lesser versions of, just to save time and energy. But in this scene, they completely animate everything that's in frame. It's not something you think about right away, but it becomes this Herculean task to animate all these faces, especially when you have this number of characters in frame. Also, nice Tano shot. Turns out he's in a band. We also get to see Rohan. I know everyone kept asking, where is Rohan? Look at how big he's gotten. I actually confused him with Meelo when I first saw him. A lot of the characters also got really cool costume changes, but I think that Lin and Korra's costumes were probably my favorite of all the characters to get different costumes. The wedding dress, Julie's wedding dress was very nice too. A lot of this party scene is also setting up what the action is going to be for the characters after this episode, like in the mythical fan fiction territory or the comics. So I'll address that after I get done with my top 10 list. And my number one moment, the very ambiguous, maybe not so ambiguous, Korrasami ending. This is going to be the most debated thing in the fandom for the rest of time, and I'm so happy they did it this way. Not because I'm just like hardcore Korrasami, but just because of the reaction that it causes in people. It's just so fun to watch it all play out. I'm a big people watcher. Like I really enjoy people going crazy over stuff. I mentioned it a little bit earlier in the video, but if you were to go up to Mike and Brian at a convention and say, will you please, say definitively, yes, Korrasami, no, Korrasami. Are they just really good friends, or is there something going on here? They probably would not answer you. Not because they're trying to be mean, but just because they think that it's more fun to leave it to the fans to decide. To be fair, I think it is in the subtext here, but if you took it at the literal interpretation, no, they're just really good friends. Because it's a children's show on Nickelodeon, they didn't get a lot of time to address same-sex relationships. That's really left to subtext in children's programming. Like you could argue that SpongeBob is a gay character, but there's no way in hell they're ever gonna say, yes, SpongeBob is gay, no, he's not gay. That's why I'm really proud that Mike and Brian were so happy to go to that place. It's a big nod to the fandom. It's a little fan service, but it's also a really smart way to say, hey, maybe there is something going on here. And yes, I do think that there are a lot of same-sex relationships in the Korra universe, in the Avatar universe. The best example I can think of is Dumbledore. J.K. Rowling said after the fact that Dumbledore was a gay character, even though they never directly addressed it inside the series or inside the books. Just to be fair to all parties, to the Makora parties and the Korrasami parties, most of the arguments I see on Tumblr or Twitter about whether or not this is canon is just a measure of how good you are as an arguer or a debater. So just because someone is able to convince someone else one way or the other doesn't necessarily make it canon. I would actually be a little upset if Mike and Brian came out and said definitively one way or the other. I think it's too much fun to debate. Just some more evidence too. This is a nice mirror for the ending where Aang kissed Katara. Let me know though, what was your favorite moment from the finale, and what did you think about that ending? Like, which way do you fall on the spectrum? So just to address the next logical step for some of the characters, Wu pretty much explained he's turning the Earth Kingdom into a democracy. They're going to be independent states. They'll operate just like Republic City, so he'll be more like a president. It'll be much more democratic. Mako is not going to go with him. I was actually really surprised by that. He'll just follow Korra around as she tries to help the Earth Kingdom and the rest of the world. I know there are a lot of complaints that he started out as a really important character in book 1 and slowly got less and less important, but I don't think it's so much about that. I think it's more about his own journey in learning to be less selfish. That's why he's able to be with Korra without being jealous. Although I do think, yeah, he still loves Korra. He's still totally in love with her. And just because they're not together now doesn't mean they won't end up together. Remember, these characters are still in their early 20s. Think about the number of sexual partners the average person has. Even if Korra and Asami are going out now, doesn't mean that they're going to be together for the rest of their lives. 50% of marriages end in divorce. Moving to Bolin, he's probably going to be following Mako around. Although I'm hoping that he breaks every once in a while to make a mover with Farik. Suyin healing her family. They're probably just going to heal and go back and rebuild Zaofu. Kuvira going to jail. I'll be interested to see how many times Korra visits her. Probably more often than she visits Sahir. Tenzin just going to continue shepherding the Air Nation. Interesting thing to note, harmonic convergence I think was responsible for the creation of all the new airbenders. You could argue that tearing open the new spirit portal increased the level of spiritual energy in the physical world even more. So there could be even more benders now. And they did explain that Republic City is going to expand, which I actually think is interesting, which is the opposite of what Kuvira wanted. It's just Raiko didn't want to rebuild around the spirit portal. That's why they're expanding. Overall, I give the episode a solid A+. I mean, it was just amazing. They did a good job of wrapping everything up. I know every little detail wasn't answered. Fans were pointing to that. Bright did say, we will tie up all the storylines. But people are like, well, what happened to X character and Y character? A lot of that stuff, the little things, they'll leave for the comics. Especially the original Avatar characters. All of the big Korra storylines were tied up. And that's really what we need to remember. This was a series about the Korra characters, not the original Avatar characters. So I do forgive them for not stuffing every original Avatar character into every available scene. They did an amazing job of leaving the characters in a place that lets you know that there is a future for everyone. The minute the episode ended, all I could see was everyone just posting, please let there be a Legend of Korra comic. Please let there be a comic. Yes, I do think they will do it at some point, but they might not announce it for a long time. Right now, their priority is the original Avatar comic. They do seem happy to support that, Nickelodeon. I have no idea what their plans are in terms of digital content, but they are done in terms of doing full episodes. They haven't announced their next project, but I will stay tuned. I am going to follow their career. I will do whatever their next project is. I'll do videos for it. But let's talk about the animation. You could just see how much energy was going into all these scenes. Everything was just absolutely beautiful. Each moment, each scene, each frame, which is this amazing background matte painting. I feel like this totally makes up for the clip show. And really, the clip show had nothing to do with them. That was all Nickelodeon cutting their budget. Really, I can't say enough good things about this series. I'm just completely satisfied with the way things ended. So I know everyone's wondering what's going to be happening next. So yes, I am planning on doing a live Q&A on my Twitch channel tomorrow. I'll try and do that around 12 p.m. Pacific time. So there's a link for that in the description. And yes, I will be doing Avatar videos for the original series. I'll try to post the first one in the next couple of days, but I am going to do a couple more Korra videos first. Please leave requests for doing other anime series. Thank you everyone for coming on this Korra journey with me. It's been so much fun doing videos for the series. All I'll say is that no, it is not over. Even though there are new episodes, doesn't mean that we have to stop doing Korra stuff on YouTube. If you're watching this on your mobile phone or on a tablet, there's new mobile links up here that you can click on. It's the same as the links over here, but click here for the Q&A. I'll post that tomorrow. I'm also going to do the live Q&A on Twitch, so I'll post some of that to the YouTube channel. And then click here for all my other Avatar videos. Thank you so much for watching. Let's all high five. Please don't cry too much. It's okay to cry a little bit.